What if one of the most famous sea monster stories began with a real sound that scientists actually recorded deep in the ocean? In 1997, a strange ultra-low frequency signal appeared on NOAA hydrophones, and it did not sound like an ordinary whale call, a ship, or a simple background rumble. It was powerful, eerie, and just unclear enough to let people imagine something enormous moving in the dark. The sound became known as the bloop. What made it so unsettling was not only the way it rose in frequency, but the fact that it was strong enough to be picked up by hydrophones separated by more than 3,000 miles. That detail turned a strange recording into a modern ocean legend almost instantly. And this is where the public imagination took over. Because the source was unknown, people began pushing the idea that the sound came from some giant living creature in the deep. It was the perfect setup for a myth, a real recording, a remote ocean, and just enough mystery to outrun the evidence. But the most important part of the Bloop story is this: mystery is not proof. Scientists kept comparing the signal to known ocean sounds, and over time they found something that matched the pattern far better than a giant animal ever did. The answer did not come from fantasy. It came from ice. NOAA later explained that the bloop was consistent with an ice quake, the sound made when large masses of ice crack, fracture, or break away near Antarctica. That matters because ice-generated sounds can travel enormous distances through seawater. So the signal felt monstrous, but the mechanism was natural. In other words, one of the most famous unknown creature sounds in modern culture may have been a giant piece of Antarctica tearing itself apart. That is what makes the bloop so good as a story. The sound was real, the fear was real, but the explanation turned out to be colder, louder, and more earth-made than people expected. And maybe that is the real lesson of the bloop. The ocean does not need an invented monster to feel alien. A sound born from cracking polar ice, traveling across thousands of miles of water, is already strange enough to unsettle almost anyone who hears it. So when you hear the bloop, do you hear a broken myth, or proof that the real ocean is still disturbing enough on its own? Subscribe if you want more true mysteries where the facts are even stranger than the legend.